Monday night, doing the damn thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eddie Law with Cageside Press. You are tuned in to Cageside Live. Once again, I'm Eddie Law, one of the journalists for CageSidePress.com. Appreciate everyone joining and hanging out with me tonight. Quick little show, little one-man show. I'm be on my own. I got the Red Bull going. I'm sure if you guys stayed up for UFC Vegas 68, you did a little bit of that coffee Red Bull mixture. So come hang out in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and I'm pretty sure Twitch, you can do comments, right? If you're on Twitter, jump on the Facebook on the Facebook stream if you can, and come shoot the shit with me. I put people's comments up. We can have a discussion, go back and forth. Very interactive show, ladies and gentlemen. All of our shows on Cageside Press are like that. This one, as well as Keyboard Warriors on Friday nights with myself, Fred Kirby. But tonight, you get me by myself, solo. So on today's show, UFC Vegas 68. What the hell happened with Derek Lewis? We got a new season of TUF coming up with Conor C-Mac. I call him C-Mac. People are like, I call it Conor C-Mac McGregor. That's not even like a thing on purpose. It just happened. But C-Mac's on there with Michael Chandler. What else happened this last weekend? Play that went down this weekend, but we start first with the one and only Fedor Emelianenko. UFC, Jesus, I wish. Bellator 290 went down on Saturday night before the UFC event, and we got to see the last of the last emperor, Mr. Fedor Emelianenko, fighting Ryan Bader for the heavyweight title. See if I can put up something here for y'all, so you don't have to just look at my face while I'm doing this shit. There we go. So it was cool, man. Like, I mean, overall, the fight was kind of what I expected. Ryan Bader just finish him. Fedor's not the same guy he was just a handful of years ago. 46 years old. Like, we all know, heavyweights last forever because of they usually just last a long time. Unless you're Cain Velasquez. But at 46 years old, there's a limit to everybody. And I think to me, Fedor, kind of, I think when he fought with Maldonado, that was like the beginning of like I call, and not in disrespect, there's no other way for me to describe it, a shell Fedor, right? Where he's not the same Fedor that we expected, and that's the same Fedor that we used to, where he's loading it overhand right, landing it, and knocking you out. He threw it a few times against Ryan Bader on Saturday, but it either didn't clean, or Bader, which is really good. He knows what Fedor's gonna do, right? So Bader was able to anticipate and everything, and then land drop Fedor and finish him on the ground. Following the fight, Fedor actually retired in the cage, which was expected, as he had said it was his last fight, win or lose. Unfortunately, the way he went out was kind of sad, but the cool part was you had guys like Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Frank Shamrock was there. I didn't see Ken, but I saw Frank. I don't think Ken was there. Like I said, Chuck Liddell. Who else was there? Matt Hughes was there. Dan Henderson was there. Mark Coleman was there. Like all these guys that, Henzo Gracie was there. Guys that respect Fedor, legends of the game. Guys that fought him, like Mark Coleman and all that. You guys remember when he beat Mark Coleman way back in the day? Coleman's daughters, I think, were there, and they were very upset. And Coleman actually picked them up, brought them over to Fedor, so they could say, "Look, Daddy's okay and everything. He's a nice guy. We're just doing our job and all stuff." Which to me is still one of the more underrated moments in MMA history, because that, as a parent, like you just, your kids see you get beat up like that and see you bloodied and a little deformed, like. You want to calm, you want to make it feel better, calm him down, whatever you want to call it. So it was cool for him to do that and go up to Fedor and Fedor to oblige and everything. So, and then we got to see Fedor smile a little bit on Saturday. We don't get that very often. Like, there's a lot of cool moments and everything. And then another cool moment in the post fight, Chris Cyborg actually came in or went into the media room. I wasn't there. Went into the media room and did basically they didn't have ask a question, but she got the microphone and she gave him his flowers and everything in front of everybody, which is really cool. Like, I think we should make that a norm where you give someone their flowers before they're dead, because that I should have said this or should have said that stuff. It's a motherfucker, man. So anyway, so that happened. Meanwhile, Ryan Bader retains, keeps his belt, keeps it going at heavyweight. And he's heavyweight champion. He's no longer light heavyweight champion. But Nemkov is that. Now, After the fight, Fedor whispered something to Vadim, and I wish I mean I'm sure it wasn't that, maybe it was, but I was really hoping we'd get like an audio of it, and it was like one of those Muhammad Ali talking to Mike Tyson, like, get in for me type of deal. Like, can you imagine Vadim Nemkov moves at the heavyweight just to take Ryan Bader's belt there? Like, that'd be wild. So, other than that, he's got Moldavsky to deal with. Obviously, Congo still in the, I think he's still in Bellator. Plenty of guys. The one thing that Ryan Bader didn't like, and I'm not saying he's afraid of him or afraid of the challenge or whatever, that he would do it, but he showed a little bit like, don't talk to me about that BS until it happens. They asked him about Francis Ngannou possibly joining Bellator. Ryan Bader was very like dismissive of it. He's like, nah, he's gonna go box. Like, cool. Man, can you imagine they're setting up Ryan Bader and Francis Ngannou, and it's just like, oh, this is a different animal. So that'd be wild. I don't see Francis ever going to Bellator. You need a lot of money to get Francis Ngannou in Bellator. I don't. Look, Bellator keeps having to switch, where they broadcast and all sorts of stuff. I really don't know if they have the money for him. They might be saving money on everything else, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Then so let me see what else happened in the Bellator card. As far as we covered both on Saturday, but there was so much MMA on Saturday between that and UFC that it legitimately like skips my brain. Like I'm still tired from Saturday, man. I didn't even stay up the whole night either. Like Jay Anderson had to take over for me for the tweets on Cageside Press for the Vegas card because I was done. I don't even remember what time I went to sleep. Then Osadagova, she misses weight kind of badly. Alejandra Lara is a badass. She still took the fight, but she loses the split decision. Then Grant Neal gets a split decision against Carl Albrechtson, and then goes off in the post fight saying like, I'm ready to make some things happen. Fight was good, but Grant Neal was kind of talking like he just knocked the Carl the hell out and everything. Like, I'm ready to do something. Like, oh, come on now. Chris Gonzalez with a TKO win over Mac Roskop. And aside from the fight itself, in the post fight, you can go to our Instagram at Cageside Press on Instagram. It's probably his Instagram at this point, but at Cageside Press on Instagram, if you scroll down, he actually shotgunned a monster, which I know I have a Red Bull here. I prefer Red Bull, but he shotgunned a monster, and the video's on our Instagram, so that's cool. Go check that out if you want to have a chuckle. What else we got here? Steve Mowry and Ali Isaev go to a draw. What are you gonna do? Henry Corrales decision win over Akram Magomedov with a coming off of a nasty injury where he hadn't wrestled for a while. Neiman Gracie won. Jalen Bates won by split. Brendan Ward with a great finish of Sabah Hamasi. That was a nasty fight. And then calls out Dalton Rasta, who actually went on Instagram and he's been reposting the clip and all that, which we really do appreciate that, Dalton. But it was a Brendan Ward Dalton Rasta fight, and Ward said it himself. It'd be like fighting young me, because he sees a lot of himself in Dalton. So it's something to definitely look into, and I'd be cool watching it. But Ward said his coach is mad at him. They want him to stay at 170. He's not as big as he used to be. They're right. He's not as big as he used to be. So it'll be a different kind of fight. And then Johnny Evelyn with the decision winner by Anatoly Tokov, where Tokov didn't really get to use his game plan very much after the first round. Evelyn just looks quicker, and his striking is so clean and crisp, and his setups are nice. This is where it sucks that he's not in the UFC, just for the fact that he can't test himself up as the better, the best in the world. But maybe one day we'll see it. Who knows? I mean, we get to see Michael Chandler and Eddie Alvarez in the UFC, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get a chance to see Johnny Evelyn against Adesanya, Pereira, or what have you. All right. So that was Bellator 290. UFC Vegas 68. I'm going to go ahead and just do this in front of you guys because who cares about the fourth wall at this point? So just a couple notes on the earlier fights. That Ashbu Jubilee finish of Jekka Saragi was dope. Definitely go back and watch that one. And then what was the other fight? Oh yeah, Adam Fugit with the knockout of Kinoshita was dope. Duho Choi and Kyle Nelson. I gotta get with Dana. Duho Choi got screwed over by I think it was and by the judges, but he got screwed over by a foul, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, Marcin Tybura decision win. Devin Clark decision win. Okay. But Sergey Spivak finishing Derek Lewis the way it happened. I gotta agree with the assessment someone else made, where it looked like Derek Lewis didn't even try. The jokes were flying, right? Everyone's talking like, "Hey, come on, bro! Like, why'd you even? It looks like did Derek Lewis even show up? Why did he even bother?" And all that stuff. You never know what happens. Is Sergey was able to ragdoll him. We never seen anyone do that to Derek Lewis. And I gotta say, Derek Lewis had this look on his face like, I'm just here to be here, just to get paid. And that's a problem when you're fighting someone that's there to pick you up and get a dub. So so Derek Lewis loses that one, unfortunately, and that's that. And and that's UFC Vegas 68. Let's just fuck it. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about next week. It's gonna be a quick ass show tonight, y'all. We're already flying through everything. Let me pull up the so here we go. All right. Next UFC is this weekend, UFC 284 from Perth, Australia, with honestly the top two fights of the to me are bomb fights. So let's start off in the early prelims. Kicking off the early prelims, Zubaida Tukhugov, Zuba taking on Elvis Brenner, then Shane Young and Blake the Builder. And then this is a fight no one's talking about. At least Reed, who just turns out to be one of the more, like, she just upsets everybody. Not upsets like pisses them off, but she upsets her opponents constantly. Taking on Loma, Luke Boomy, like that's a firefight. Don't miss that one. And I know people were like, women's MMA is not the same, yada yada, all this stuff. If you look at the matchup, it's a good one. So definitely, I'm not missing that one. Then Jack Jenkins against Don Shanis. Jamie Malarkey coming back, taking the Francisco Prado. I always like to see when Malarkey fights. Then Shannon Ross against Clayton Rodriguez. Kind of a stacked, and that's that, but there's a bunch of fights on the early prelims. 1, 2, 3. 6 fights on the early prelims on Fight Pass / ESPN Plus. Then 2 on the regular prelims. This got to be wrong. This has to be wrong, but screw it. You guys see right there, there's 2 fights that we lost on there. But we got Joshua Kulibao against Homeboy with the longest crazy last name. And Tyson Pedro against Modestas Bukowskis. That's a tough fight for both men. Tyson Pedro coming off the win at UFC 278 in Utah, where he finished his opponent, I believe, by knockout. But it was a dope fight for him, especially coming off like a couple years like off due to injuries and what have you. So then the main card kicks off. Jimmy Crute against Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo Menifield was pissed. He had to fight the dude whose record changed like 18 times. He was mad about that. Got to win on that one. That gives Jimmy Crute, which is a step up in my opinion. Then Justin Tops taking a Parker Porter. This is just fun because I really don't think either one of these guys wants to wrestle because they will get tired very quickly. So I think we're gonna see hands flying on that one. And both guys are like, I mean, it's basically physically they don't look the same, but they look the same. You know what I'm saying? Then one of the more exciting young guys, Jack Della Maddalena, taking on Randy Brown. This is a great fight at welterweight, kind of early for both of these guys. Like, I know Randy's 32 and he needs to get moving, but he's still, I think people see him more of an up and comer still. So this is kind of early for these two guys to fight. But a winner of here has a good chance at cracking the top 15, top 10 if they're not already ranked. I don't have the rankings on here, but and I don't pay attention to rankings very much, just for the fact that they mean F all most of the time, that no one even cares. Co-main event: Yair Rodriguez, Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight belt. Of course, the featherweight champion fighting in the main event for the lightweight title. Either winner of this gets Volkanovski in his next defense, or depending on what happens with Volkanovski, if he wins and he decides he wants to bid on featherweight, which I really doubt he would. One of these guys is the outright champion. You never know. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Then Islam Makhachev defends his lightweight title against Alexander Volkanovski. This is a tough fight for both guys. Like, I see a lot of people kind of shitting on Islam or Volkanovski on what might be a weakness. I don't think either one of these guys is weak anywhere. I think both of these guys are strong wrestlers and strong hands. Now, who's going to implement their game plan better? Who knows? I think at that point that you can nitpick, right? Like, all right, I think Islam will get his wrestling in and all that, or grappling in a lot, his game plan a lot sooner than Volkanovski will. Volkanovski, I think, is going to have to react a little bit more before he gets offensive with his wrestling, if he even does. And then hands-wise, Islam gets a better up on that. He's much better than people think he is on the feet. And I think it's going to be a great fight, honestly. I think it's going to be a firefight. It's going to be a really good fight. I don't buy all the stuff where, certain people are saying like, oh, this is going to beat the pay-per-view record that McGregor. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to do that. But I knew that Australia is super excited to finally get the UFC back there. So they're gonna bring it for sure. So that's UFC 284, and then the week after that, they don't have the whole thing on here, but that's not fight's not canceled. It's moved. Stupid Google. Marlon Barrett against Corey Sandhagen has been moved to UFC San Antonio, unfortunately, for me, because I'm covering this UFC fight night, Santos versus Blanchfield, but it's now the main event. Either way, interesting card for me as well. I really was hoping that they'd come up with a different main event, right? For that fight, the Apex card. A lot of people aren't happy about the Apex cards. I get it. I don't care because I like the Apex cards, but I get it. People want to see crowd when they hear the pop of the crowd and all that. It makes sense. And damn, it's gonna be a super fat show tonight. Ultimate Fighter 31. Yeah. So the rumor was Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson. Thank God they were wrong. Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will coach against each other. I forgot when they said. I think they start filming in March. They comes out in March. Can't remember. But I think it's still filming in March. But then they fight later on pay-per-view. So fight that we all kind of wanted. We all thought that McGregor's return fight shouldn't really be like a gimme fight. Like boxing is like a warm-up fight. No, I don't think so. I think McGregor would have taken a warm-up fight. Because whatever, but he gets Michael Chandler, who's a motherfucker. So that's gonna be an interesting fight. I saw Henry Cejudo's breakdown of McGregor, and I agree with him. He talks about the gift of anticipation. McGregor's anticipation is the way he anticipates strikes is really good. Now, if you notice against Poirier, he used a very boxing style striking stance, right? Will he do that against Michael Chandler? I hope not. I hope he gets back to that kind of sideways type of like a sideways type, like they used to do, right? That like very rangy sideways movement, almost karate style. So I think it'd be maybe to his advantage to do that. All right, go ahead and do something a little different. I'm just gonna go off the cuff here because why not? I'm gonna show you guys our Instagram. So Johnny Evil saying he's the best in the world after his win over Tokov at Bellator 290. He looks really good. Now again, these are not, in my opinion, not the best middleweights in the world. It'd be interesting to see him. It'd be interesting to see him against UFC level caliber guy. He's the guys in the UFC. Now, whether or not he does that, obviously it's up to him. I don't know how much they get paid and everything, but I think Ryan Bader laughed when he saw the reports of the payout from Bellator 290, because he was like, I make 8 or 9 times that much. Sure, if you take into account sponsorships, bonuses, stuff like that, makes sense. But I'd love to see Johnny Evil in the UFC, see what he's got. Yeah, Scott Coker saying giving Fedor his flowers too. Again, the retirement celebration was pretty damn dope. If you didn't see it, YouTube it. I guarantee it's out there. Maybe on Twitter, maybe on whatever. Just look it up. It was cool to see all those legends in the cage all at once, all together to toast one of the best to ever do it. And then obviously, Fedor. Now this is the one that was funny, because Dana. It was a much longer quote, but I put the words that were more important, I guess. He says, talking about Fedor, I don't want to shit on the guy. I mean, he got knocked out by middleweight Dan Henderson. Not wrong. I was never one of the guys that thought he was one of the greatest of all time. You could chalk that up to sour grapes. You could chalk that up to him trying to, somehow make the UFC look better. You know what I mean? But to me, it just seems like he's probably just, not to mention, they asked him this in the middle of the night, like around 2, 3 in the morning, whenever it was at Vegas on Saturday. So keep that in mind. But I don't know, maybe, look, if I was dating, I'd be kind of pissed I wasn't able to do that deal right now. If you remember back when he tried to sign him for the Brock Lesnar fight, Fedor gave the same reasons for not signing that contract as Francis Ngannou did, which is basically that it was very one-sided contract. The UFC obviously gets all the, gets the more favorable side of it. And you gotta give it to Fedor and Francis. But now I wish Fedor would come out. And I think he has. I haven't seen anything, but excuse me. I wish Fedor would come out in support of. I know Randy Couture has in support of Francis Ngannou. Similar situations, except one was already in the UFC. But I think it's interesting and everything. Now, what do I say on this thing with the contracts? Hey, if you feel like you're worth a certain amount, go get that certain amount. Don't settle for what someone else thinks you're worth. A lot of people won't agree with that because a lot of people have 9-to-5s, like myself. A lot of people have 9-to-5s, and they just, they get told when they come in, when they go home, what time of your lunch is at, that kind of shit. Like, you know what I mean? If you have the ability to say, no, I'm worth more than this, and you really want it, you go for it, right? Obviously, circumstances are different for a lot of people, but at least for those two guys, like, no, they had the ability to say, nah, fuck off, dude. I'm good. I'm not taking that bullshit contract. And to his credit, he didn't take it. So now he's betting on himself, he's hoping for a boxing match sometime soon. This is I think I posted this today, February 6th, 2010. So 13 years ago. It says right there. Randy Couture submitted Mark Coleman in the main event. Chael Sonnen was there, David Maia was there, Matt Serra, a couple other guys, I can't remember the names, but it was I remember that was a dope card. If you go to our Instagram, there's a video of Brendan Ward talking about he wants Dalton Rosta next. Sounds cool. And so go hit up our Instagram at Cageside Press. All our stuff is on here. Hit us with a like, follow, tell your friends about us. See what's up. So I'm not gonna play the video because I don't want to get like somehow copyright stricken by us somehow. I couldn't even explain it. But anyway, oh Jesus, they're tagging Food's Gone Wild on this thing. So I don't know if you guys know, but this chick JD69 is Tekashi 69's sister, from what I understand, and she started trying to sing, and she's not good. I'm not good either, but she's not good. Very much goes into the pandering type of shit is what she turns out to be, in my opinion. But she kept saying that she put Riverside on the map and all sort of shit. And Lawrence Larkin didn't like it, and he just let it know. And he gave him a microphone, and he said it. So I don't know if she said anything back about it yet. People are tagging her and everyone's post that has it on there. So take that for what you will. There's a video of Chris Gonzalez taking a shotgun and a monster. Check it out at Cageside Press. And that's kind of it, folks. All right. Last second check up the headlines for you guys before I log off here. Maybe I didn't need this Red Bull tonight. You know what I'm saying? Michael Chandler thinks that the pay-per-view fight against McGregor could earn 2 million buys. That'd be a crazy amount. Oh, Jorge Masvidal, Game Bread 4, April 1st in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The card is interesting. So the main event, Anthony Pettis against Roy Jones Jr. If Roy Jones, man, I'm not gonna lie. These are not, in my opinion, these are not circus fights at all. Like, this isn't like a Jake Paul card. These are legitimate setups, right? So Anthony Pettis versus Roy Jones Jr. in the main event. Co-main event, Vitor Belfort against Ronaldo Souza, Jacare. Jose Aldo against Jeremy Stevens, so I'm definitely watching that. Pro Gonzalez, everyone loves her. Like Gina Mazzani, Paul Daly taking on Anthony Taylor. Devin Cushing against Damian Marciano. Dylan Klecker against Josh Burns, and B. Nguyen against TBD that I haven't found her an opponent yet. So that's happening April 1st. We'll definitely be covering that for you guys. And that's kind of it. So, all right, folks, I'm just gonna do it for me tonight. Appreciate the hell to everyone that tuned in. Shout out to everyone that watches this. We appreciate the hell out of you guys and everything. I know it was the last second and everything. We wasn't really sure we were gonna do this tonight, but we did. All right, come back Friday night, Keyboard Wars, myself, Fred Kirby. We talk about the non-serious stuff and we clown around a lot. It's called Keyboard Wars. Come hang out with us. All right, shout out to everyone that tuned in. Obviously, CagesidePress.com for all your coverage. And it's gonna do it. So for myself, the entire team, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Catch you guys next week for another episode of Cageside Live. Come back on Friday night. CagesidePress.com for all your coverage. We'll be covering 284 this weekend and everything else that's around. Make sure you check us out. Catch you guys on the next one. Good night. See you guys later.